Hi y'all, Justin with Kayak Catfish. Well, today's video is going to be a fun one. We're going to do a little experiment out here. First off, this is going to be another raw and uncut video. I'm turning the camera on, I'm leaving it rolling. You're going to see it all start to finish. But the experiment out here today is I'm going to take a, well, right there was something splashing. These fish can't wait to get on the video. Look at that, folks. Look at that. It's going to be action-packed. We're going to catch some fish out here today. They're excited to see me. But anyway, we're going to do an experiment. I'm going to spend an hour, again, raw and uncut here. You're going to see it all. But I'm going to throw a 3-inch Gulp Minnow. This is a 3-inch Gulp on a 1/32 ounce jig head. For those of you who have followed along with this raw and uncut video series, you know my favorite ultralight bait to use is the 1-inch Gulp on a 1/64 ounce jig head. You catch a million fish on that bait. Well, I'm going to bring the 3-inch out today. And I'm going to take a section of shoreline here and just start here and fish my way down for about an hour or so. Then I'm going to come back to the top of this, the next video, which I'm going to publish on my second channel, Kayak Catfish Highlights. That video will be over there. But I'm going to come back up here, this same area. I'm going to put the 1-inch on and work the same section of shoreline so we can see the 3-inch versus the 1-inch. How do they compare? Do you get more fish on the 1-inch bait? If so, how many? Do you get better quality fish on the larger bait? Do you get different species of fish on each size? Be a fun experiment that you all can follow along with, again, in real time, because there's no edits. So I'm going to put the camera in the chest here and we're going to start casting. This is the 3-inch Gulp in a smelt color. That's my ultralight rod, St. Croix Panfish Series rod. 6 foot long. We got 2-pound test line. And I'm going to work both of these baits the same way, just kind of let that jig just fall down through the water column. If we're not getting bit on the fall, we'll reel it in. Sometimes I'll use a steady retrieve. Sometimes I'll use this little twitch technique that Randy Goad there, Trout Magnet Man, he's so good at it. And we'll just make our way along, and gonna be a fun thing here today. Here's my guess as to what's gonna happen. First off, I think the 3-inch bait, I think we're gonna catch less fish on it than the 1-inch. That's having fished the 1-inch and 3-inch baits a lot through the years. That's typically the case. You get less bites on the bigger bait. My next observation will be that we will catch more bass on the 3-inch. I wouldn't be shocked if we got some smallmouth bass down through here at some point. That's my next observation. Obviously, the bigger hook is going to eliminate some smaller bites. When I throw I can't get my words out. Lord, I'm excited, y'all. When I throw the 1-inch bait, if I get it going here, I'll get it going here directly. But when I throw the 1-inch, I throw it on a 1/64 ounce head with a number 8 hook. You need that small hook with the 1-inch bait, because otherwise it's just, the size of the hook just consumes the bait. So you need a number 8. On this bait here, I've got a number 6 hook, slightly bigger. If I was just targeting bass specifically, I would throw a 1/32 ounce with a number 2 hook. But I don't want to completely eliminate the bluegill and other smaller fish. And when you got a number 2 size hook on your jig head, you really limit the number of bluegill hookups. With the number 6 hook, you'll still get some. You won't get them real tiny ones like you will with the 1-inch, but you will still get some hookups. And you know, with this being raw and uncut and going to be, you know, an hour or so long here, I'd like to get some fish on this video. If we don't run into any bass, I'm gonna be in trouble if I ain't able to hook up with some bluegills. So we'll go with the number 6 hook. If you've been watching that ultralight series there, the raw and uncut, you know, I've been just shellacking the fish. That 1-inch catches so many. You just get a variety of species, a ton of bites. It's so much fun to fish with. But I like throwing this 3-inch when I'm specifically going after bass. I like to throw it. But I've had a lot of requests, people asking me to come out here and throw either the 2.5 or the 3-inch. And I thought, you know what, today would be a fun way to do that. We'll do a little experiment, fish the same area with both, and just see the differences. And I thought it might be a way too to get some extra watch time on that second channel, because those of you who like these raw and uncut videos, you know, they're longer videos, and it really boosts my watch time, which I need on that second channel to reach the monetization status. I got the subscribers, I just need the 4,000 hours watch time. So I'm gonna post this video on my main channel. And if you're liking this style of fishing, we'll go to my second channel and watch the follow-up video. I'll probably post it the day after this one comes out on my main channel. I hope that other boat down there, I hope he's going the other way. Y'all know I don't like talking on camera in front of people. I hope he goes the other direction. There's literally 2 of us out here on the water this morning, 2 of us. I chose this area because I thought I'd catch some fish, number 1. And number 2, there wasn't anybody else over here. So, very frustrating that we're 5 minutes in and here comes a boat. But there's 2 trailers in the parking lot over here. And I'll be damned if he ain't 100 yards away. That's Murphy's Law, man. Fish oftentimes school up, but fishermen school up way more frequently. Oh, there's one hit me. Hit me on the retrieve. All right, fish number 1's a smallmouth. He ate it on the retrieve. We'll make mental note of that. Come on, fish, give me that hook back now. Boy, he's hooked good, buddy. He got up under that bone right there. You wasn't coming free, was you, fish? This fish said he's hell-bent on taking that jig home with him, a little souvenir right there. Say hi to the camera there, fish. Tell them hit the like and subscribe, and tell them be sure to check out my second channel, Kayak Catfish Highlights. There'll be a link down in the video description, or you can just go to the search box and type in Kayak Catfish Highlights. It'll bring up the channel. That channel is primarily for shorts videos, and also just shorter clips for people who don't like longer videos, which, you know, ironically, I'm going to be posting an hour-long video on that channel, but it'll be mainly just for shorter videos. Most of my videos and my catfish videos, and of course these, are anywhere from 30 minutes to these raw and uncut videos have been 1 to 2 hours. And so there's a lot of people out there that just don't have time. They want to maybe catch a fishing video, but they don't have time for 30 minutes, an hour or plus. So I'm going to try to keep that other channel to like 5 and 10 minute videos for the most part. That channel also will give me the opportunity to post some other content that people have requested and that certain people in my audience want, but some videos I just know won't perform well on my main channel. They're just not going to get a lot of views. And the problem with posting those type of videos on your main channel is that YouTube kind of punishes you. You kind of get, if you post a video that don't get a lot of views, it hurts you in the algorithm. And so it's hard to justify posting those type of videos that maybe I want to make or people have requested. But if it's not going to get a lot of views, it's hard to justify posting it on my main channel. But the second channel, since it's not the breadwinner in the family, it's not as big a deal if a video doesn't perform well, you know. So I think it's good to have the second channel going, but I got to get some watch time on there. Those shorts videos, I have met the 4,000 hours watch time required for monetization. The problem is shorts videos don't count toward that watch time. I don't know why they don't, but they don't. So I need regular video content to get there. So I think, is this fish or am I hunging something? I don't know. I think if I post a couple of these raw and uncut videos onto that second channel, if I get all of the people from my main channel who like this kind of content, and from what I've seen on the analytics, there's 3,000 or 4,000 of you that will like this style of video. If I can get all of you over to that second channel to watch those raw and uncut videos, I'll be there 1 or 2 videos. I'm gonna be down here in this tree right now though. I can tell you already, observation number 1 is probably gonna come true. We're gonna catch less fish here with the 3-inch, because I promise you on the 1-inch we would have gotten some bluegill around this tree or the other. Goodness, are we gonna break off right here this soon into the video? By gosh, we are. We sure are, people. We're breaking off just that quick. Here's another thing that could possibly affect us in this raw and uncut video, is that I'm almost out of these larger jig heads. These 1/32 with the bigger hooks, I put all of what I had here on this magnet, which I think is around 5 or 6. So if I really get into some snags and we break off, we may have to go to the larger hook just to finish out this little video here. Hopefully we don't have the whole video of me retying jigs. Nobody wants to watch that crap. Like I said, folks, it's raw and uncut. It's unfiltered. I get snagged, I cast into a tree, you know, a walnut falls off a tree limb and whacks me on the head. There's no edits. You're going to see it all. Good, the bad, the ugly. This is as real as it gets on a fishing video. This ain't a highlight video. This is real world fishing. I'm going to take this 3-inch gulp here. I got them in the regular container, which I don't like. Them things leak too. But at least they're a better design on the container. Them little 1-inch gulp jars are small and they turn over easy. I got that on there good and straight. You want to put these gulp on, no matter what size you're using, you want them on the jig straight. That helps them fall naturally through the water and eliminate that helicopter spin. Well, these 3-inch gulp containers are bigger and they don't flip over on you to spill. Ain't nothing worse than getting to where you're going or getting home and finding a tackle box full of gulp juice, or your car upholstery with gulp juice all over it. It's a mess. All right, we're back in the game, folks. We're back in the game. For those of you fast forwarding to the part where we start catching fish, we ain't there yet. 1 smallmouth bass thus far. I hope we get on some fish willing to play here. I'm not even getting bluegill taps, which is surprising. Oftentimes, even though they may not be able to eat the bait or get the hook and the bait, you'll feel them down there just pecking and tapping. Not even really having that yet. Well, I'm gonna make my way down through here and we'll get on some fish eventually. I'm in my Old Town kayak today. I don't have any electronics on here. No regular graph, no live scope. I'm just bare bones out here today. Pedal kayak, ultralight rod, and hopefully some fish at some point. Let me get spun around here. I know some of yous out there like me, but you don't tune in just to hear me. Video like this, I'm sure you'd like to see a fish or two caught too. I know I would. I'd feel better about it if I could catch a fish. I'm gonna throw a few casts here around this tree, and then I'm gonna spin around and we're gonna hit this over here, this little opening from a different angle. There's a fish. There's another bass. Oh, he was spitting up some shad right then too. Did you see that? That's a large jaw right there. Bass number 2. Oh, oh. Well, he gone too. These bass a little bit camera shy, ain't they? Well, just a little bit. I mean, he didn't. I don't know if he just had a problem with you or he just had a problem with the camera. Either way, he wasn't sticking around for it. That was another one though on the retrieve. I may just let that thing sink down until I'm confident I ain't going to catch a fish and then just reel it. I did see, I brought my, that'll be one thing that interrupts this video, potentially, this experiment, is if we see some skipjack or white bass busting out here. I brought my skipjack rod to take advantage. But I did see one school of what looked like white bass when I first launched the kayak on the other shoreline. But we're getting in here now, it's late September. I don't know what today is, 20-something. It's a Sunday. Hell, I don't know. My days run together. But that time of year, these fish start schooling more, start feeding aggressively, trying to feed up for winter, you know, and it's a fun time to fish. It's more fun when you're catching fish though. That's why I throw the 1-inch most of the time, just for the action. It's way less downtime. But this 3-inch, I've won money in bass tournaments on this 3-inch gulp. You catch some really good smallmouth especially. This bait along bluff walls is money, literally money. I typically just like to let it fall, let it sink down. For those of you wondering about specific depth, I can't tell you that obviously without having a graph on here, but you can probably see from the contours this bluff wall just comes straight down. So it gets pretty deep pretty quick. Water temps started to cool. We've been having some cooler nights down in the 50s. I think this coming week, I think we're going to have a couple nights in the 40s possibly, 48, 49 degrees. So our water temps are going to start to drop pretty quickly. It's going to get these fish on the move. Now this 1/32 ounce jig head, it does fall faster than the 1-inch on the 1/64 ounce. And the size, the weight of these gulp also will cause this bait to sink a little quicker too. So you don't get the slower fall rate with this. Now you can go weightless. Just put you a hook through this bait. Oh, I thought I had a hit right there. You know, you can play around with it. But so far, my observations, I think, are going to come true. Less fish on the 3-inch than what we're going to get on the 1-inch. We'll catch more bass, which we've already got 2 bass. And I still wouldn't be shocked if we get a pretty good sized bass down through here at some point. Would not be surprised at all. I hope I'm not sniffling too much on this video, y'all. It's cooler temperatures, and for some reason in the fall, I don't know, it's either something blooming or something dying. But I typically have about a 2-week period in the fall where allergies just go insane. We're not there yet, but I can feel it coming on. Whatever it is that triggers me is either starting to bloom or starting to die, because I'm at the beginning stages of it. I'm just going to keep making my way down. We'll either run into fish or we won't, but it won't be for lack of effort. What are we? We're 20 minutes on the end of the video here according to the screen. These fish better come on, because I was only going to film. I'm going to try to do about an hour for each experiment here, each bait. The wind, you can see it's starting to blow a little bit. It's supposed to be, oh, I had a fish hit me right then. Come back for it, fish. That was out a little deeper. The wind is supposed to be a real pest this afternoon, so this is going to be a morning trip for me to come out here and try to get a few fish before the wind got out of control. I think as long as it stays like this, we're going to be fine. But this afternoon, it's supposed to be on up. I'm going to watch a ball game. I'm filming this on a Sunday. Yesterday was the Tennessee-Florida game. Tennessee, y'all that watch me know I live here in East Tennessee, big Vols fan. Got the win over Florida. Happy about that, been celebrating. All of Tennessee is celebrating. Us Florida fans reminisce about the days when they were good. Not anymore. I double dipped last night, y'all. Come on, give me a second here, y'all. We're gonna do something else today too. We're gonna mix up our views a little bit too here, just to get some different camera angles. I don't know if that'll be any good or not. We'll see. Some of yous like this kind of thing, and some of yous don't. Depending on the angle I cast, you may be able to see me and the fish if we catch any. That's the goal with it anyway. I was saying though, I double dipped yesterday. This is between us. Don't tell anybody. I'll get my fan card pulled. But, you know, sports gambling's legal here in Tennessee now, has been for the last year. I saw that point spread yesterday. We were giving Florida 10.5 points, which was insane, because they've owned us forever. And I figured, regardless, even if we win, I thought we could win. I didn't think we were going to win by 10.5. So I'll put a little scratch on Florida. Don't tell anybody. So, perfect scenario, we win, and I win a little money. I couldn't bet on Tennessee and giving 10.5 points. Now, it went down to the wire. If it wasn't for some last-minute shenanigans there, Florida wouldn't have covered the spread. It could have been ugly for me there, but I was willing to take the risk because I felt like I was going to walk away a winner either way. Either I was going to win some money, or we were going to blow out Florida. It ain't nothing. Well, Alabama fans are worse, but them Florida fans, man, they're obnoxious. So, thankfully, all's worked out well. We got our win. I got a little extra scratch that I can lose on the ball games today. I'm going to put a little on Baltimore against New England, which by the time you're seeing this video, this will probably get posted on Monday. You'll see whether or not I won or lost. We'll see. Don't take my gambling advice, people. I'm a terrible gambler. I lose like everybody else. Let me spin on around here. Thus far, I know most of you don't give a crap about football or especially gambling on football. But for those of you caring about the fishing, slim pickings thus far, slim pickings. One smallmouth, one largemouth, 2 total bass right now. Just working this thing along here. There's all kinds of debris down through here coming in, and just not much happening. I kind of want to hit that bluff wall. Kind of gets more trees in this area and rocks that have broken off down here. Kind of want to throw this 3-inch down there on the bluff wall, but I also wanted to, do this experiment fishing the same areas with the 1 and 3-inch. I'm just not getting a lot of bluegill taps or anything down through here, which is surprising. I thought they would at least be hitting it, even if they couldn't hook up. Really, I'm not seeing a lot of activity out here. I mean, I did see that one school of what looked like white bass when I first was unloading the kayak there. But no skipjack, no white bass, no nothing really going on around here. I'll tell you what, we'll compensate for this in the next video. But what I'm gonna do, let me show you this here on the camera. So, this area here, we got overhanging trees. We've got branches that's fallen down in the water, pieces of this rock wall that's come down. You get a lot of fish here, typically. It's just a good area to fish, but obviously today I'm not really got much going. Right down here though, on this section, it's just straight drop off, just bluff wall. And so I'm gonna come down here and we're gonna make a few casts going the other direction here along this bluff wall. I just want to see what's happening with the 3-inch, and what I'll do is I'll come back with the 1-inch and we'll throw the same thing through here. Again, it's all about confidence in where you're at and what you're doing, and can you catch fish on the 1-inch on an area like this? Absolutely. But I typically do better along the trees and the brush because that's where more of the bluegill and crappie and things like that are going to be. Whereas I oftentimes find a lot of bass here. Let me get this out of the way now. That was helpful the other direction, not so much going this direction. All right. Let's just see what's going on. Since the bluegill don't want to eat this 3-inch bait, we'll see if we can maybe target bass a little more here. Almost feel a pressure. In my normal ultralight videos where I'm throwing the 1-inch bait, I just fish normal. I just go out and do my thing because I know I'm going to get bit a lot. It's going to be an action-packed video. With this larger bait, I know I'm going to catch fish throughout the day. I mean, we've already got 2 here. But with only filming an hour or so, there's a pressure there that, you need action. You need to be able to keep people engaged and watching the video. So I think it messes with my mindset here a little bit. Maybe I'm fishing a little too fast, possibly, because of it. Not letting that thing sink down enough, maybe. I don't know. Either way, we're rolling with it, y'all. Again, it's raw and uncut. Y'all seeing it all, the good, the bad, everything in between. That's real world fishing, man. Just kind of working. I'm trying to work this thing off as this wall falls down here. I want that jig to go with it. I don't know if I was on something there, if that was a fish possibly. Oftentimes when you catch a smallmouth on this gulp, oftentimes you won't feel them. Even the bigger smallmouth, you see your line twitch, or your bait will almost feel weightless. Just a different feeling. Sometimes they smack it, but oftentimes you really don't notice you've got a fish until you go to pick up on your jig, or you just see your line just swimming. With the 1 inch, you just getting tapped all the time. I mean, those 1 inch baits are just so, what's the word? Eatable? Is that a word? They're irresistible for all fish. This 3 inch, eliminate some of those bites. Which if you're targeting bigger fish, that's a good thing to do. If say you're coming out here and you're specifically targeting bass, for instance, with the Ultralight, and you're reeling in bluegill constantly with the 1 inch bait, well, all that time you're spending dehooking bluegill, from an efficiency standpoint, is time that you're not casting out there for bass. So, if you're specifically targeting bass, those bluegill kind of interfering with what you're doing. And so you want to be able to eliminate some of those bites. A 3 inch bait can definitely do that. But yeah, if I'm specifically targeting bass, I love areas like this. This bluff wall. Seems like a lot of smallmouth hang out places like this. And my depth right now where the kayak sits is probably well over 20 feet deep. Nothing though. These fish need to bite just so I can have some commentary. Them other fish, when I'm throwing a 1 inch, I'm getting all in bluegill and stuff. I mean, they give me all kinds of material to talk about. All kinds of stuff. Them bluegill talk to me. They speak to me. I speak bluegill. Not very well, not fluently, but I speak it enough to translate. And so they give me material out here for commentary. When you go through a dead stretch like this, I've been a while without a bite, commentary gets sparse. That's why people that have asked me about doing these raw and uncut catfish videos, I've kind of hesitated to do those because you oftentimes in your catfishing get stretches of time, hour, 2 hours, where you just got nothing going on, while you're waiting on a bite. I think that would be tough on a video. My live streams are technically this style of video, the raw and uncut, but I've got people to interact with there in the chat box while we wait on fish. And so it passes time very quickly. And, for people who are watching the video after the fact, like a normal video, it gives them something to listen to, like a podcast, really. But if I don't have that live stream chat box, here's a fish. I gotta tighten my drag. Finally got a fish here. But if I don't have that chat box, it's hard to make conversation with myself for that long. I need a topic. Oh, look here. We finally got us a bluegill. You see what I'm talking about here, though? You look at the quality of that bluegill. Now, he was able to get that larger hook, but the little 3-inch bluegill, 4-inch bluegill, you're not going to get very many of them on this bigger gulp and the bigger hook. You get one, it's going to be better quality. Which, if you're going after bigger, better quality bluegill, again, you can eliminate a lot of small fish with the size of your hook, size of your bait. But typically, when I go ultralight fishing, I'm looking for action. I want a lot of bites, a lot of fish. I want to go out. If I'm in the mood to go ultralight fishing, I'm in the mood to catch 100 fish. You know, and I've not counted up all the fish caught in these raw and uncut videos, but again, they're typically 1 to 2 hours, and you know, I bet you there's been some where I've hit at least 50 fish. That last one I did where I was the last one, I was on the Emery River, and I got on a couple different trees that were just stacked. I mean, it was one fish after another, and it's fun when it's like that, and I like it. That's the appeal to me with ultralight fishing, is that constant action. Now, getting a good bass on an ultralight is fun too, but the real draw for me is that just constant action. It is nice to see better quality bluegill here, though. I'm gonna take the same path when we do the 1-inch experiment. So I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna start where I did, go down the other direction. I think we'll get a bunch of bluegill, at least, maybe some crappie. Going the other direction. I did a raw and uncut video up here. Oh gosh, it was one of the first ones I did, I think. First or second one I did. So it's probably been close to a month, 3 weeks, a month ago. And caught a bunch of big bluegill and crappie up through here. So I think when we go with the 1-inch, I think we'll get on some of those for sure. Now, we got something happening right here behind me. Look right here. What is that? Is that skips? I got to get reeled in here, folks. I got to get reeled in. Oh crap, I got weeds here. I got weeds on the jig. Bad timing on the weeds here. Bad timing. I'll take some of them skipjack now if that's what that was. Dadgummit, I done missed my chance here. Of all times to catch a weed. Dadgummit. He's gone. I don't think it wasn't a big school. Looked like one of them for sure looked like a skipjack. I do have my skipjack rod here that I had brought just in case we got on a big school. Yeah, I think he's gone. Dadgummit. All right, well, back to what we were doing here. Hey, it got me excited for a second, didn't it? I think we might have could have got one if a dang weed hadn't have got on my jig, man. Of all times to catch that, you know what it was though, that weed. It said, Justin, if you ain't gonna catch no fish, I'll at least let you reel me in. So I don't know if that weed was trying to help me out or if he was just being sarcastic. You know, it's tough to tell with them weeds, their personality. It's tough to tell. Either way, it prevented me from casting over there in a timely manner. The fact that they come up behind me didn't help my cause either. But regardless, I heard some, oh, you can't see over there. They're over there on the shoreline. Yeah, they were chasing minnows over there. We're liable to get on to school at some point. Here's a fish. Oh my gosh. I gotta tighten that drag just a smidge. I had one. I botched that one. Where we at on time here, people? Lord, we're 40 minutes in. Is anybody still watching this with me not catching fish? Are y'all still with me? If you come over to my second channel, again, Kayak Catfish Highlights, and you watch the part 2 of this experiment with the 1-inch minnow, I promise you will see more fish caught. I promise. If you like action and you want to see a bunch of fish caught, part 2 will be better. It can't be much worse. There's another something come up right there. Part 2 definitely can't be much worse, that's for sure. 2 bass, 3 different species. Largemouth, a smallmouth, and a bluegill, but only 3 total fish thus far. Ultralight fishing spoils me, man. I'm used to 40 minutes. I ought to have a bunch of fish by now. Just get spoilt rotten. All you can do is plug along, though. Keep doing your thing. You cover enough water, the bites will come. You'll eventually drop this gulp in front of something that's big enough and willing to eat it. I can feel that wind picking up a little bit. It's going to be a problem. I should have started with the 1/64 ounce jig and the 1-inch gulp, because this is more, the heavier the jig, the easier it is to deal with the wind. But I kind of wanted to start with the 3-inch first for experiment purposes, just because if I had started with the 1-inch first and go through the same areas here and catch 50 fish, and then come back on the second part of the experiment with the 3-inch and catch 3 fish like I've done here, people would say, well, you know, you sore lip so many there with the 1-inch, that's why they weren't hitting the 3. So I wanted to fish with the bait that I thought I would catch. That bird come right out of the water. Oh, loon. So I wanted to fish with the bait that I thought would get less bites. That way when I go back through on part 2 and start just shellacking them, you can see the difference. It would kind of, I felt like it would go better with experimental purposes. We'll see if it comes to fruition or not, but I don't know how many fish we'll catch on the 1-inch, but I promise it'll be more than 3. This is brutal. I can't believe any of y'all are still watching. I appreciate you though. You still watching? You're a good man or a good woman. Whatever you are, I appreciate you. I'm gonna just fish down. There's a little, you can see right there where that little outcropping is on this bluff wall. I'm just gonna fish down to there. And then we'll turn. I could have, you know, if I was in a bass tournament or something, and if I was really just fishing this area through, if I come out in a tournament, for instance, and I got 8 hours and I need 3 fish or 5 fish, I would be working this area much more thoroughly. I mean, I would probably spend 3 or 4 hours from that little outcropping there down to the end of this bluff wall area and just pick it apart. Because you never know, the way this bluff wall comes out, I was going to see if I could find some areas above water. What's above is below. You can kind of see, but I don't see a good example right here that I could get close enough with the camera. But oftentimes on this bluff wall, you have these little ledges that come out, and then it goes down, and then bass will get up under, right next to the wall, up under those little cliffs. If you ever go to the Bass Pro Shops where they got them big aquariums, you'll see that oftentimes. Fish kind of hanging out, like where a little rock area comes out. It's like over their heads. And you find that on these bluff walls, and so if you can drop that jig down right beside them, they'll oftentimes snatch it. But if you're off a few feet, I just don't think they're going to run for it. They're probably not even going to see it with how they're positioned. So that's why when you fish in an area like this, if you're, in a tournament and you've got 8 hours or however long the tournament is, that's where you really key in. Take your time and make as many casts as possible. Try to fish it thoroughly. Out here today, I'm kind of just, making casts at random here, trying to cover a little water. It'd be nice to stumble into a school of something, though. I don't even care what. I'm open for anything today. I got my cooler there. If we can get on some skipjack or white bass, that would be helpful for the catfish videos this week. I think I'm going to go out tomorrow and maybe do a little catfish carp combo trip. Try to, anyway. But I could use some fresh bait if I can get a hold of something. If nothing else, I might keep me a few bluegill today when I do the 1-inch part of this video. Nothing, man, nothing. All right. Well, what do you think, y'all? What do you think? Let's turn. Let's just go back to doing what we were doing. We're 48 minutes in. Let's give it another, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. I don't know how long my little intro was of me rambling on. It was probably 2 or 3 minutes. I'd like to get an hour straight of fishing. Probably should have started up here and worked my way down, but when we weren't getting any taps or anything on down through here, I got to thinking maybe I should target the bass. That's all fishing is a damn mind game. You just playing mind games with yourself. It's more of a battle of your own patience than it is the fish oftentimes. As you put enough time into play, it's like catfishing. You set up on a productive area long enough, you're gonna get bit. Can you sit there long enough is the key. That's the thing, is can you put the time in? There was something splashing on right against that wall over there. We've already, I'm gonna make a few random casts down through here. We've already established nothing's gonna bite down through here. So I'm gonna just hit it with a couple casts as we move along very quickly and get down here to where we left off before. Watch me, I don't remember where I snagged at. Wouldn't it be something if I put this jig in the same snag? That'd be a bad deal, wouldn't it? One of y'all conjure me up a fish. I'm gonna need y'all out there, wherever you're at right now. Is there such thing as a fish dance? I know there's rain dance. People do a rain dance all the time, but I don't know about fish dance. But y'all need to bust out your Elvis moves here. Get me another fish, man. I can't be having this. I can't be having this kind of downtime. One, my attention span while ultralight fishing, you know, we've talked about it. I need action. Two, y'all watching this video wanting to see some fishing, wanting to see some fish catching. I mean, them people that are fast forward and they need a spot to stop at when a fish is being reeled in, they stop. And they watch that section. You know how I know? Because I see on the analytics where people stop at. Which parts of videos gets watched more. It's always where you're reeling in fish. So them people that are fast forwarding along right now, they need a landing spot. I want to provide that for them with a fish being caught. But these fish don't care. These fish said, Justin, we don't give a diddly doo-doo about your video. These fish said they're tired of getting hooks in the jaw. They said if people will quit watching my videos, then I won't get to fish as much. And therefore I won't be able to sore lip them as often. So these fish today, they're doing their part here to avoid the temptation of this jig, just hoping that I'll get less views. These fish, man, they're conspiring against me. They're vindictive, man. They're spiteful. Oh, something was hitting me. I think that was a little bluegill right there. If I only had a little bluegill tapping at this thing. I got a feeling. You watch and see. Well, I hope you watch and see. The second half of this experiment will come down through here, this same stretch, and just waylay some bluegill. But yet they haven't touched this bigger bait. Oh no, did I just, oh no. Is this the same snag I got in earlier? Surely not. It may be. Either way, I'm in a snag here, folks. It felt like I come out of one branch and right into another. I may have. Oh, I come out of it. Okay, good. I was worried I may have gotten that barb down into a branch, and if I had of, it would have been game over for that jig. With this faster fall rate on the bigger gulp, I find myself losing jigs more frequently, typically, on a normal trip, than I do when I'm using the lighter jigs in the 1-inch gulp. I think because oftentimes this jig falling a little quicker. Here's a fish. Here's one. I think you're in trouble before you know. Oh, he spit it. That was a little tiny bass. you're down into them branches and stuff. You're down into that brush thick before you even know you're in it. Whereas that lighter jig head, you oftentimes you'll feel it hit the top branches there before you get way down into it. You can stop it, you know. Once you get down into the heart of some of these brush piles, it's sayonara. You ain't bringing them jigs back out. But so far, I don't want to jinx it. We've been pretty lucky. 2 snags, only 1 lost jig. I'll take that. That's a win. Lord, 55 minutes into this video here that I've had the camera going. 4 bites, 3 fish caught. I'm almost embarrassed to show this video. But we rolling with it because we're doing this experiment. I've posted worse videos for sure. I did a bicycle video the other day. I've been taking all these bicycles these companies are sending. That's the easiest money you'll ever make, is making a bicycle video on YouTube. Put that one the other day, the fishing was so bad in it. It was probably the worst video I've ever put out. That's how it goes sometimes though, when you're on a deadline. And I was on a deadline to get that video posted. You just gotta go out and catch what you can catch with it. And if they ain't biting that day, well, it just is what it is, man. I don't know if we fished down this far on the first video. I mean on the first pass down through here before we turned. These old fish giving it a hard time today. I nailed that tree and I bounced it off. I planned that. That was not accidental. I knew I would bounce right off them leaves and landed exactly where I want. Oh, that's a fish too. Oh man, I had one hit me. I think that was a bluegill. It's like, what are the odds I could be on that little spill pretending like I purposely cast it into that tree and then catch a fish? I had another one after me right there. There's some bluegill or something right here. Well, that's 2 casts right there and 2 hits. We'll see if the third time they'll actually hook up. Come on, fishy. You want it. You've tried twice. Get it this time. Get it. He says he got enough of it there on the first 2. He said if I couldn't catch him on the first 2 attempts, he wasn't going to bite it a third time. That fish said he got better stuff to do than sit here and bite my lure all day long. He's probably got to go get his bets in today. And bluegill, they don't have internet. So if they go on a bet on the ball game, they got to actually go to the bookie and place the bet, because they ain't got phone lines either. So they can't be calling him up. And bluegill they're like the Amish people, really. They live a very primitive life. Bluegill are very happy species. I mean, considering so many of them get eaten every day by larger fish species. They're very happy. But they don't have internet or telephones, or I guess they do have running water technically, since they oftentimes live in running water. But yeah, live a very primitive lifestyle. But if they're going to bet on the ball games today, they're going to have to go talk to their bookie. We'll keep plugging my way along here, y'all. Plugging along. I really did, though. I mean, I thought this experiment, I thought the 1 inch would catch more, because it always does. But I thought I'd catch more than 3 fish. I didn't think it would be like this. It is what it is, man. Again, you raw and uncut. It's real world, man. It's real life. There's no, you know, I could come out here on a normal video and fish for 4 or 5 hours. Take my highlights, you know, the fish caught, condense it down to a 15, 20, 30-minute video. And it would look like, you know, over the course, if I fish 4 or 5 hours, and I'm getting 3 or 4 fish an hour, you know, even if I stayed on this pace, that's over the course of the morning, you could make a 15, 20-minute video out of that, and it would look like, when you're watching the highlights, you know, you're going to think, well, man, he was catching fish all morning long, when in reality, it just wasn't the case. It's like that too, even in my regular ultralight videos with the 1 inch. You know, you may have a spell where you're working your way along and not catching anything, and then you get on that one tree that's just stacked. I mean, just loaded with fish. And you pretty much get your video off that one tree, and it looks like, man, you really know your stuff. You know, you're on the fish. And in reality, it's, no, you covered a bunch of water and eliminated a bunch of dead space, and then finally worked your way down to where there was some fish. And on a condensed, edited video, you look like a daggone hero, like you know what you're doing. When in reality, you're just somebody that puts the time in. And that's what I am. I'm somebody that'll get out here and grind a little bit and work for them bites. Now, I don't like working as hard as what we've had to in this last hour for the limited fish that I've gotten. But it is what it is, man. Oh, is that a fish? It is. That's a good one. That's a bass right there. No, is it? Or is that a crappie? He's bigger, whatever he is. Oh, that's a nice crappie. Nice crappie right there. Boy, that's a big one, man. That one's coming with us, buddy. If we can land him on this 2-pound line, easy crappie. Look at that. Holy cow, what a crappie. What a crappie right there, folks. Woo! He liked him some 3-inch gulp, man. There's the bait, and there's the fish. Let's stick him on the board here. I know he's well over 10 inches. He's coming with us. Oh, yeah. He's almost 13 inches. Look at the height on him, though. I mean, I feel like he's taller and thicker for a sub 13-inch fish. Nice. Boy, crappie, I got bad news for you, buddy. You coming with us? I'm gonna put him in the box there, in the cooler. We got to take him with us. He's going to be. Boy, we got some minnows going crazy right here. What's going on? What's chasing them? Let's throw in here and find out. They're right there in front of us. I don't know what they are. I keep seeing minnows. Oh, there was a little bass right there come up. I'll work this jig kind of fast up here on the surface. See if I can entice them to bite. Yeah, we'll make cut bait out of that crappie. I catch a little flack for that, but here in Tennessee, we can use sport fish for bait, for catfish bait, as long as it's caught on rod and reel and it meets the minimum size requirements. We're allowed to use them, and so when I'm out ultralight fishing, I stumble into some crappie. I generally take them with me. That was a nice crappie though. I mean, he had a little weight to him for his size. All right, let's move along here. That's another fish, that's another bite. What I really was though hoping to get more fish than this. I mean, good golly, the people that have stumbled onto this video, maybe this is the first raw and uncut video you've watched, as that crappie makes as much noise as possible back there. If this is the first one you've watched, I'd like to be able to entice people to come back, you know, or, you know, entice them to go to my other channel there and watch part 2 of this and see how many more fish are going to catch on the 1-inch. But based on how few fish have been caught thus far, I don't know that I can inspire people to set through another hour. I don't know if I can do it. We'll see. We'll see how many people show up over there for part 2. It'll definitely get less just because of being on the smaller channel. But that channel's growing quick. I've got around 500,000 views so far. A little over a month. Here's another fish. Oh, let me back off here. I got bit again, and we got that crappie there, and I got bit again. Let me just, I'm gonna spin around here a second. We're not gonna do this section much longer, but I do want to see if I can get another crappie or two off here. I just got bit again right there in that same general area. But yeah, that other channel though, if you've been watching over there, thanks. But you know, it's just going to be that channel, along with a lot of the types of fishing I do, is just an experiment. But I've been really surprised with how quickly it's grown. On my main channel, Lord, it took me, hell, I don't even know. I don't know how long it took me to get 1,000 subscribers, and I think as of filming this, I think I'm around 1,800 or so subscribers on there, 500,000 views. In a little over a month that I've been doing that other channel. My main channel, gosh, it took, I don't even know if I got that, I don't even know if I had that many views and subscribers in the first couple years. So definitely encouraged by this second channel. Hopefully I can cater to both groups of people, those who like short videos, those who like longer videos, hopefully have something for everybody. You can't be all things to all people, but can try to cater to both audiences a little bit. Y'all hear that mosquito on the microphone? He's right there by my ear, but he's right there by the microphone too. Dang old skeeters. I waited long enough this morning that I could have busted out the flip-flops for today, but I knew the mosquitoes would probably be eating me up because they just get bad this time of year. Once we get into fall and the temperatures start dropping a little bit, it's like they just, here's a fish. Oh boy, there's a fish. Boy, he's right under me too. Is that another crappie? No, that's another bass, and I just botched it. I didn't get a good hook set on him. The wind had kind of blown me right up over here. And I was almost on top of him when he bit. Dadgummit. Here we are toward the end of this video. Now I'm gonna start getting bit. I done lost all the audience in the first 45 minutes where I couldn't catch. Oh, there was a skipjack come up. I hope that got on camera. That skipjack come up right then. Yeah, we're gonna get on some fish over here now. It's gonna be time to wrap this crap up. Lord, I'm at an hour and 10 minutes. So I've probably got an hour and 9 minutes probably of. We're gonna go just a few more minutes on this. Because that's a crappie, we got that bass bite. The skipjack just followed me up here. Yeah, I'll start getting bit now, by gosh, now that everybody's done clicked off. Dadgummit. Oh no. I got snagged too. I'm snagged, y'all. If I break off, this will be a good stopping point. I sure was hoping to work just a little bit further down through here now that we get on some fish though. By the time I retie, this video will be well beyond the time frame that I was wanting to do with it. Let's see if we can get this. Can we get lucky? Can we get lucky like we did getting that overly fat and tall crappie a minute ago? I don't want to get over here in these bushes. Oh, there's spider webs right there. Dadgummit. Yeah, I had to break off. Little crap. All right, y'all. Well, boy, I'm dark on the screen too. I may want to, after as few fish as I've caught, I may want to hide my face. Maybe what I need to do so people don't recognize me like, ha ha, there's that guy that sucks really bad at fishing. But anyway, a little over an hour here now of this 3-inch gulp experiment. And, you know, unfortunately didn't catch as many fish as I wanted to down through here. Got the variety of species though, bluegill, largemouth, smallmouth, and a crappie. You know, nice crappie there too, happy about that. But that was it. Now, again, if I was throwing this 3-inch gulp all morning long and just kept covering water, I would grind out some bites. I would eventually come across, you know, a school of something and would get my bites. But for the second part of this video, again, go to Kayak Catfish Highlights. The second part will be posted on that channel the day after, whatever day this video airs. But I'm gonna hit this same area again with the 1-inch gulp and we'll see the difference. You can see, I think I'll get more fish. I can't get hardly any less fish, but will we get the same number of species? Will we get better or worse quality? You know, again, today was a little bit of a grind here with this 3-inch, but I promise you, if you will come with me to my other channel and watch the part 2 of this morning here, you will see a lot more fish caught, I promise. So let me get a 1/64 ounce jig and a 1-inch gulp tied on. I'm gonna circle back over here where I started. Hopefully I'll see some of you over there. If you do, regardless, if you've stuck around this long through this few fish, thanks. You're a trooper and I appreciate the hell out of you. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.